Matt, let's talk about volunteer burnout, right? In traditional youth ministry, that's a really pressing concern because youth ministry, and all ministry does, but I think youth ministry even more so, takes every bit of us. It takes our whole beings and it takes energy. So I'm curious about burnout in your social enterprise model. And I'm also curious to hear perhaps how you spiritually invest in and tend to your volunteers so that they aren't mentoring youth or leading youth from an empty cup.
Yeah, this is the first time anybody's asked me this question like this. Like people have asked me about uh like how have I not burned out, or like how do I care for myself in the midst of doing like day ministry plus this thing that I do, right? But this is an interesting question. So one, I tend to think that burnout often comes with two things. One, like we don't learn in ministry how to keep good boundaries. I think everybody knows that. And a lot of that has to do with emotional boundaries. And I will say that like one of my personality quirks that's a virtue and a vice, as most things are, is that I am not a feeler. I would make a miserable chaplain. Like I did hospital chaplaincy and I it's not my gift. Because of that, it's easier for me to keep some emotional boundaries in my ministry, and that's helped me a lot. It for me, it takes about 3 to 4 significant human problems to walk through my door in one day for me to go home and really be upset.
Hmm.
So that's just how I'm wired. It's a fault of how I'm wired, and it helps and it hurts sometimes because sometimes I'm not attuned enough to people's emotions or what's going on inside them. I don't pick up on those things as well. That's just not how I'm wired. So I think there's a boundary issue. I think secondly, there's also with burnout, there's an alignment issue that many times burnout is actually because our particular gifts are not aligned with the mission of whatever the organization or the program is that we're a part of. And so we feel like we're pushing something that doesn't fit well, or like in my case in youth ministry, I nearly burned out on youth ministry because I knew that the model was kind of futile and I needed a different way to do it. And once I started doing something, a version of youth ministry that aligned with my gifts, and was inherently interesting and compelling to me, all of a sudden, I remember walking out of a meeting one time and one of my fellow lay people was concerned about me. I was like, I'm really concerned about the amount you're working. This is a very driven person. And I said, you know, this is weird, but I felt less weary. I've had less sort of just a day where you wake up and kind of feel down, or I get headaches when I get stressed out, or I have less headaches. And I'm like, I've discovered that because this is so compelling, I have a fifth gear that I didn't even know I had.
Hmm.
So I've really wrestled with this when people ask about spiritual formation or practices, even because sometimes I get a little frustrated because they're like, you need to really have some reflective time. And I was like, you know what? I used to have a lot more reflective time. And I actually wasn't sure it helped a whole heck of a lot because it's not how I'm wired. So I think there is a real opportunity for volunteers to burn out in this model. There is an opportunity for personal burnout that I worry about myself. But I've discovered, I think also that sometimes the fact that we're doing something that doesn't feel like it always works very well or it doesn't line up with us, that actually might be the cause of burnout more than we're doing too much.
Hmm.
It might be that we're doing the wrong things over and over again, and the futility of that reflexive motion of the church, of repetition, might be the things that cause burnout. That's what was causing it for me. I think it depends on the person.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.